For some Iraqis, one of the most important celebrations in the Muslim calendar was marked with funerals. A crowded market in Sadr city was rocked by a bomb on Monday evening, killing at least 35 people and wounding more than 60. A suicide bomber targeting shoppers on the eve of the Eid al-Adha festival. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack. It said one of its militants blew up his explosive vest among the crowds. Hospital sources said the death toll could rise as some of the wounded were in critical condition. Women and children were among the dead.
Rockets struck Afghanistan's capital on Tuesday, landing near the presidential palace during holiday prayers. It's the festival of Eid al-Adha across the Muslim world, and despite the whistling rockets and explosions, prayers continued. The outdoor gathering included Afghan President Ashraf Ghani. Officials said 3 rockets landed outside the palace, but there were no immediate reports of injuries. Ghani later delivered a speech from an outdoor podium broadcast on local media. It was not immediately clear who was behind the attack.
He was held for almost 2 decades without charge at Guantanamo Bay detention facility. In 2016, a review panel recommended Abdul Latif Nasir be repatriated to his home country, but it didn't happen until this month, the first release since the U.S. President Joe Biden took office. Nasir was captured by Pakistani agents and held at Guantanamo since 2002. The U.S. alleged he trained in al-Qaeda camps and cooperated with Osama bin Laden, who orchestrated the September 11th attacks. An attorney for Nasir said the charges were unjustified and the suffering endured by his client is a stain on America.
A man from Florida was sentenced to 8 months in prison Monday. He's the first Capitol riot defendant sentenced for a felony charge. Paul Hodgkins waved a Trump 2020 flag on the floor of the Senate chamber on January 6th. The 38-year-old pleaded guilty last month to 1 count of obstructing an official proceeding.
Well, prosecutors had asked for a sentence within that range. They asked for the judge to sentence him to 18 months in prison. They said that his sentence needed to reflect the gravity, the weight of the event that day. They described the Capitol attack as something that threatened the peaceful transfer of power. And they said that a longer sentence would help deter any similar possible events in the future. Hodgkins' lawyer, on the other hand, asked for home confinement only. He asked for no time in prison.
In remote Van Horn, Texas, the anticipation is building. The launch pad, 45 miles out in the desert, set for billionaire Jeff Bezos' liftoff. This morning on Today, Bezos and his 3 fellow passengers were giddy with excitement.
People who say they go into space, that they come back changed. I can't wait to see what it's going to do to me.
While Blue Origin has flown 15 unmanned test flights, this will be the first to carry passengers. Bezos will take seat number 6. The simulator, an exact replica of the capsule that will carry all 4, 62 miles high for 3 minutes of weightlessness and 6 massive windows.
A Chinese Communist Party (CCP) committee in the northeastern region reposted a video threatening to continuously use nuclear bombs against Japan should they interfere with a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. The narrator calls for the use of weapons of mass destruction to be used against Japan to make them surrender for a second time. The video says, "When we liberate Taiwan, if Japan dares to intervene by force, even if it only deploys 1 soldier, 1 plane and 1 ship, we will not only return reciprocal fire, but also start a full-scale war against Japan." We will use nuclear bombs first. We will use nuclear bombs continuously until Japan declares unconditional surrender for the second time. What we want to target is Japan's ability to endure a war. As long as Japan realizes that it cannot afford to pay the price of war, it will not dare to rashly send troops to the Taiwan Strait.
The completion of the filling of the Grand Renaissance Dam is a milestone in Ethiopia. The country's energy minister, Seleshi Bekele, who was on site to witness the end of the process that started early this month, said the heavy rains this season made everything easier.
We are now putting the turbines in what we call Unit 10. We're installing the shaft for Unit 10 as soon as some important works are completed. In a few months, it's all about connecting it to the transformers, and this will provide the biggest outcome of this work for the people of Ethiopia, which is generating electric power.
But it is a controversial project that has raised regional tensions. Sudan and Egypt, who rely on the River Nile for most needs, are worried about the impact to their own water flows. Previous talks mediated by the African Union to hammer out a binding agreement on operations of the dam have failed.
Drownings in Senegal capital city Dakar have spiked this year as residents flock to beaches during periods of hot weather. In the first 6 months of the year, 48 people have drowned in the Dakar region. Since mid-June, authorities have stepped up surveillance and prevention. 8 people drowned during one weekend last month, sparking nationwide concern. Few are able to swim as lessons are expensive. Ibrahim Afal is the president of the Senegalese Lifeguards Association. He blames the drowning on the rash beach privatization as hotels and restaurants mushroom along the coast of the capital city. Authorities hope to curb drowning figures and secure the coast of Dakar that has already been dubbed by Senegal's local press as the death beaches.